And I have the great privilege of being able to go around the country and speak about trauma and compassion and self-care and resiliency and all sorts of things in this space. And I get to talk to people around the world, and that is such a great privilege. And when I do it, that is when I feel God's delight in me, because I am moving fully into who God created me to be. When I can be my full and authentic self, and God's like, yeah, that's what I was going for right there. Right. And so it's not that whether I do it well or not, honestly, it's if I'm moving in obedience in what the space that God has created for me. Okay. And so it's not about performance. It's about like moving forward into that space. And so when we see that people are showing their real and true selves, the way that we can that can build on that is to respond to it. So I do this thing called the baby face. I'm not suggesting that you do this with the person that you're serving, although you might, but here it is. What is the face that we give babies? It's this one. Hello. Hello. Look at you. You are so precious. Look at you. Look at you. Oh my goodness. You are so precious. That delight to be able to see people, right? And when I get to do this in person with people, and they at first they're like, ha, and then I'm like, how did that feel? And I give them the mic, and they're like, it felt so good. Just to be seen. I'm like, you didn't do anything. You just showed up as a human. And I had this open affect and this gladness in my eyes to see you and this hope for you. And I'm like, you deserve this regardless of your behaviors, regardless of the things you have done and for the things that you will do. And if I can give this to somebody over and over and over again, right? If I can leave that space to say, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad to know you. You are brilliant and amazing, and you're awesome. What that does, those neural pathways that we talked about that are in that attachment cycle, that neural pathway of I don't have a voice, my needs don't matter, I am not precious. What that does is cause a fear event in people. There's a traumatic event that happens that says, if I show up as my full self, if I show up authentically, I not only do I not matter, but I am not worthy of love. I am not worthy of respect. I'm not worthy of being seen, heard, and valued. There's something that is terribly wrong with me. I need to hide. I need to cover that up. I need to mask. I need to hold that in. And the stress of trying to be what someone else wants us to be, that subversion, again, that's that toxic stress that starts to disintegrate the end of our DNA. But what was discovered a few weeks ago is that the buildup of certain parts of our DNA occurs when we have these fear events, when these events that say, you are not safe. You are not safe either. Someone's going to hurt you physically, emotionally, mentally, neglect you. Something bad is going to happen. Or you're not safe to show up as yourself, that you are invalidated. You are not, we don't want you here. You are not okay. That will cause us to have markers in our DNA that will have different health effects, right? And that different types of, just like we learned with ACEs, that different types of diseases or different ways that we respond to stress is that's being read in our DNA, in our body. It is affected by these fear events, that there's this buildup, and we can't even see some of the choices that might be in front of us because of what's happened in our histories. Okay. And what the scientists discovered is that the way that we can heal that fear event in DNA is by repeated positive experiences in similar environments, and same type of environments. It can actually switch the marker of the DNA, whether it's on or off. It changes the actual structure of the DNA. So we're not even talking about the ends. We're talking about active live DNA, where because it goes either one way or the other as it's being read down that strand. And the structure of the DNA can be changed if we have these repeated experiences, right? It's called a fear extinction event. Is that if we are giving people repeated experiences in relationship, if they were harmed in relationship, and every single one of those ACEs is a betrayal of relationship, is a relational dysfunction, a breakdown of safety in relationship, if we can give them opposite experiences of safety, of being seen, heard, valued, delighted in, and known, we can change their DNA, and we can change each other's DNA.